Hello, I'm Jim Glover with Once a Day Marketing, where business takes shape. And today is Smart Monday. Got an exciting little show for you, if you call our blog a show. And it's kind of interesting when you think about what we're doing here with Once a Day Marketing. It's kind of like hopefully a new language for you. And oftentimes the best way to learn a language is total immersion. You go in to that country, you don't hear a bit of English, you hear the language of that country, and maybe after a while you become fluent in that language. And that's what we're doing here. We're just tossing a bunch of words at you, ideas, concepts at you, and then hopefully you come out of it speaking great marketing. Today we're talking about the 7 P's of marketing. We're continuing with our series, and today is all about place, also known as distribution. When we define place or distribution in the 7 P's, what we're really talking about are just all the places that your customers can find products. And today's world, there are a number of places that make products available. Traditional modes and non-traditional modes like the internet. We'll be talking about that in just a second. So think about your daily transactions. You go to the grocery store. What kind of experience do you have there? And a Safeway is different than a Whole Foods. You might go and actually purchase a product online. Might be this kind of website versus that kind of website. eBay, Amazon, or something totally different. So there's all kinds of experiences that you get when you go out and purchase your product. So what you have to really think about are what kind of those shopping experiences, transactional experiences that you have that you love. And then take a moment and think about the ones you don't like. And you want to make sure that when you're looking at your own company, your own product, in your own places, that you create an environment where your customers love to buy your products. Just where are your customers finding your products? There might be a direct way to your product, or there might be an indirect way to your product. Let's go back to the caveman days for a moment here. Think about that very first caveman 10,000 years ago. Maybe figures out how to grow some sort of grain outside the cave. Somebody walks by and they go, "What's that?" He said, "It's a new food source." They offer him some sort of form of money, whatever that exchange might have been back then, and he gives them the grain. So that would be in a direct approach. Maybe another person comes by from another village and he says, "I think I can sell your grain to people in my village. Why don't you let me have some? I'll go sell it and we'll split the profits." There was the indirect. So you have the possibilities of direct and indirect. In the indirect mode, it's typically a manufacturer of some sort who uses a wholesaler, a middleman, a distributor, to then eventually get to some sort of retail outlet that finds the consumer. But today everything is changing. You know that. The world is going digital. There's all sorts of interesting ways to get your product out there. So now let's look at Apple. Way back when Apple created its computers, and it was almost a bad idea when they first came out for them to sell their product directly. There was all these channels in place, and so they would allow those channels to sell their products, their wholesalers, distributors, and so forth. But over time, it's changed. Now there's Apple stores. That wouldn't have happened way back when. And there's actual physical Apple stores, and there's online Apple stores, yet you can still find Apple products in places like Best Buy. So now today, those distribution and place strategies are sort of commingled, and what you have to do is find the best strategy that makes the most sense for the kind of product you're pushing through those channels. Place strategies, aka distribution strategies, are going to continue to change and evolve. Here's an idea that you might think about. Let's say you have your smartphone and you're watching a little video about how a craft brewer is making a specialized beer. And right while you're watching that video, you can touch a button and instantly an option comes up for you to be able to order a case of that new micro beer and purchase it. And while you're still watching the show, that product is then packaged, put into some sort of distribution system, and the very next day it's sitting on your doorstep. That's pretty powerful. That's the way the world's going. So what you have to do as you take a look at where your place and distribution channels are, that you make sure that you can come up with things that really make sense for your customers, that they love the experience, they want to buy your product, and they want to buy it often. Maybe even tell a few friends. That's your goal when it comes to place. That's our Smart Monday for today. Try to stop by tomorrow for a Strategic Tuesday. I'm Jim Glover, that branding guy for Once a Day Marketing, where business takes shape. Hopefully your business is taking shape following our blog, and we'll see you next time.